Thank you for watching. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you for staying as well. And please join us in the conversation with the makers of this film, because they are here in Rotterdam. Give it up for Mike Wozniak, one of the guys that was killed. Yes. And Ryan Eddleston with his camera here. If you want to ask a question, please do so. Your phone is maybe still on, or switch it on. You can send me a text on WhatsApp. The number is still on the left bottom of the screen. You can use still Twitter, #LiveCinema. You can do that as well here in Rotterdam. So please join the conversation. I've got great comments already, many of them. One of the comments was, she looks like my therapist. Who was that? Who said that? Alice Lowe. Oh, I don't know where it is again, but I'm really worried about you if that's the situation. Oh, there. Tal says it. Main character reminds me of my therapist so much. The Verkade Fabriek, it's a cinema, it's a hall here in Holland, in Den Bosch, is also joining in. Someone says, is the film about murderous babies? Well, that was 30 minutes ago already, so, well, in a way it was. Well, question for you guys. Were you scared of Alice on set?
She wasn't genuinely murderous.
Comes from Carl, by the way.
Yeah. You spent a lot more time with her on set than me. She wasn't scary when I was there. She was delightful. She was having a lovely time, though. She's very comfortable with the gore.
Yeah.
That's maybe the scary thing about her.
Indeed.
I'm most comfortable with, gore and mayhem.
So cute and friendly.
She's really lovely.
At first sight. What is she like in real life?
Yeah, she's lovely. She's very articulate and switched on. But if you get on her bad side, you know,
yeah,
she can do some bad things. No, but she's lovely. She's an amazing director and an amazing actress.
Yeah, she wrote it, she directed it. She's the main character in the film. She's not here, obviously, but we went to Bath, to England, to ask her about the movie.
The whole film was about exposing reality a little bit, like, you know, the whole thing of pregnancy, everyone treating you very gently like you're a child, and you're like, yes, but we all know what's going to happen to me, like, you know, stuff's going to happen to me, I'm going to be in pain, and it's like they're trying to pretend to you that that's not going to happen. So that was all, you know, a lot of the violence in the film is about me going, let's be honest about what, you know, what's going to happen. I don't show so much violence in terms of the giving birth, but I show it in terms of the murders instead. Giving birth is a horror experience. You know, you've got blood, you've got screaming, you've got transformation, you've got like interior possession of this creature that's inhabiting you like a parasite. You know, all of this stuff is the stuff of horror.
There you go. Oh, there you go. She doesn't like that.
I wanted to make a commentary not just about pregnant women or motherhood. I wanted to make a comment about society in general, really, and this idea that I had that, you know, we're supposed to be kind to pregnant women and we're supposed to be kind to babies, but why don't we apply that to all of society? You know, why aren't everyone was a baby once? And that was kind of the basis, was this idea of this baby who's actually misanthropic and hates society and just thinks that everyone is really selfish. So it was about choosing these characters that represented in some way kind of hedonism or selfishness or individualism to a bad extent, you know. I don't watch Rush's back at all because I don't like to get a self-consciousness as an actor or as a director. I think it's better to be in the moment, and I'd rather be looking at the actor's face.
I learned how to do the boogaloo, self-taught.
No, I'm not. I'm saying fuck off.
40 countries going to watch this film. I don't know how to calculate that in my head. That's just too much information. Yeah, I feel like a rock star.
I can't go any faster.
So thank you for watching, and I'm so honoured that you have watched my film, and I'm very happy. Thank you.
Yeah, that was Alice Lowe in Bath. She's still pregnant, right? Or we couldn't see in this video, but He still is. Oh.
She's dealt with that. You've seen the product of that real pregnancy in Della Moon, the star. You saw it at the end.
Oh, they're not pregnant.
Real deal. Real deal.
Because there was a question from Julian. He says, did Alice become pregnant for this movie? Everything is possible, you know.
That would be pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, but she goes far.
I didn't interrogate her about the reasons for her pregnancy or how that
could have
came
been a
about
nice conversation,
in the first
though.
place. I assumed it happened for the usual reasons, whether that be planning or just booze. I don't know. One of the two.
Do you know where the idea started? Because she explained a little bit, but it turns into this morbid fantasy.
Well, I know initially Alice was pregnant and she realised that there's not a lot of film roles for an actress when they're pregnant. It's kind of the life's put on hold. They have to wait until they give birth. So she wrote herself a role while she was pregnant. She was like, I can be in a film, I'm going to write it. And that's what Alice did. Yeah. So yeah, she was 8 months pregnant while she was filming. And she gave birth, and that's her real baby Della in the film.
And how easy is it to work with someone who's 8 months pregnant, who's directing, who wrote the script, who's the lead actor, for you as a cameraman?
Well, it's quite easy because I've got a working relationship with Alice. I worked before with her on a feature film called Black Mountain Poets that we did in 5 days. This film was only shot over 11 days, so we needed to be quite fast-moving. So it's always thinking about the character and the story, moving quite fast. And me and Alice seem to have a good working relationship.
Flora says, what do you think American Republican lawmakers would think about this movie? Someone's on topic on the news.
I think, they'd get some big fat billionaire white men to sort of put a stop to it. Pretty bluntly, I'm sure. But that side of things, it didn't make a difference really on the day, I don't think at all. I think being able to write and act and direct a feature to be able to do that is quite an extraordinary thing. Most people struggle to be good at one thing, and I think that's down to Alice as an individual rather. And the pregnancy wasn't an issue. So it didn't register as a thing. Other than being pivotal to the story, it wasn't. I don't think it made an impact really.
You read the script for the first time when you were asked for this production. Yeah. What did you think?
Well, I loved it. I wasn't surprised that I would love it because I knew Alice, not well, but I knew her a bit, and I was a fan of her work. So it didn't surprise me that it was very dark and very strange and unusual. But I loved it. She sent something called a scriptment, so somewhere between a script and a treatment, and because she wanted it to be a bit sort of loose on the day. But the script, I think she would have been a bit dismissive about the script itself, but the script itself was you could have just shot it as it was, and it was a great story, and it was very exciting to be involved for me.
The combination of death and humor, black comedy. What's the appeal to it?
I'm not sure what it is.
Why does it work so well?
I think it's because I think we're quite sort of fairly ridiculous as a species. And I think, when we start to take ourselves seriously, we become dangerous. And so I think to take a look at the sort of most serious and the worst elements of life and to poke fun at it, it's a bit of a breath of fresh air, really. It helps avoid the abyss and the pain if you can just laugh at this death that will catch us all in the end. But for a little bit, we can, wave 2 fingers in the air at it until it gets us,
You've brought your camera. Is this the exact camera you've been working on set with?
No, it's a film camera, but this is the lens that we filmed Alice's close-ups with, a vintage 50mm lens. It's a coincidence I brought it, but this is the lens for all the close-ups, and the close-ups of Della, the baby. But
the whole production, you've done it in how many days?
So it was done in initial 8 days, and then there was another 3 pickups, so 11 in total. But it was very cleverly scheduled. So Alice would do all the special effects and the difficult death scenes in the morning, get that out of the way, get the trouble stuff out. And then in the afternoon, that would be the time for the dialogue and the improvisation, and it gave them the freedom because we weren't rushing against losing the light. But 11 days, and we filmed on Halloween in Cardiff. and because Alice is in costume with a knife, she can get away with it. So, yeah, it's all very well scheduled. And 2 days after Della was born, I travelled down to London to film her, and it's there in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange to have well, a newborn baby in the movie. Did you think this is because there's something happening, something really romantic, but you were there professionally?
I was there professionally. I didn't have to actually film the birth. That was all set up.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Alice did ask me to film the birth, and I probably would have said yes, but thankfully we got to cheat that in a bath in West Wales with a 16-year-old runner with a prosthetic belly and some hands manipulating the baby. But yeah, we got Della 2 days old, I think. She was, and she has no idea this film is about her. In years to come, I'm sure she'll be scarred, or maybe she'll like it, you know.
Yeah. Well, she was quite articulate already at an early age.
Alice calls her a working baby, doesn't she?
Yeah. There was also a question about Cardiff. I'm not sure if it's still on the screen, but it said, what was it like to shoot in Cardiff, and what was the local reaction?
So I live in Cardiff, even though I'm from the north of England, and I kind of know all the good locations. So it was really good for me because all the locations that I've shot in films and music videos in the past, I could say, oh, this will be amazing. So the nightclub has real character, and I thought we could shoot some nice stuff in there. Like the bar kind of hides Tom Davis, so when he comes out, you get this lovely reveal. The nice street lights, it makes it feel like a city you don't recognise. Especially, I don't know whether you thought it was a city you recognised, but it feels quite faceless and anonymous. But you get these weird sodium lights. But you've got lots of green as well, and it's very urban, so it's got a lot of variety. And of course, you get the sun, you know, occasionally, so it's good.
You had your perfect set.
Exactly.
One of the reviews was predictably brilliant, because you know what's going to happen, and it keeps going on and on and on. How do you keep that exciting, and how do you keep the tension?
There's a few ways she does that, I think. I mean, for a start, I think she's quite brave in that at the beginning you don't know what on earth is going on. You know, it's a bit sort of rattling and unsettling, and I mean, at the very beginning, it's there's this sort of greenish light, and there's these weird creatures slipping about the place, and you don't quite understand what's happening. And I think she doesn't patronise her audience. She allows the audience to take their time, try and work out what's going on. It's not just sort of rammed in your face. There's no great big bit of exposition at the beginning where someone's saying, "Oh, my lover died. I'm going to have some revenge." She lets you work it out, and I think that helps add to the tension, because you're trying to work out what the hell is going on and who this person is. And, you know, each of the individual episodes have their own individual tension as well, whether it's because you do want them to die or you don't want them to die, or because some lovely tiny old lady pops up all of a sudden and you don't know what's going to happen to her, you know.
And because the reaction here was, well, many people were laughing, right? Well, I had the same reaction when I watched it for the first time. Is everyone taking it in like it's supposed to be taken in? They appreciate it.
I haven't been to every screening, but I hope so. I don't know. I've got no idea.
There's different audiences. So it played in Chicago, it played in Toronto and Venice. So Venice, in particular, that was our first screening, and there wasn't a lot of laughter, but you know that slowly came. But in London and Cardiff, it was just you couldn't hear anything for the laughter, you know.
Because it's typically British humour.
It is, yeah. Exactly. And I think there's something in the subtitles, you know, you're looking at the subtitles, you're missing the amazing reactions, because Tom Davis is doing some amazing work with his mouth in the film. I don't know whether you saw it, but I've heard people wetting themselves over that. But what's nice about the comedy, because it leads you into a false sense of security, because when the deaths come, it catches you. You forget about the deaths. You know, you're laughing, then all of a sudden another death comes and catches you by surprise. And also, as I was saying to Mike earlier, there's a lovely scene with his character, and he's the nicest person in the film that grounds him, and that kind of he's the centre of the film. And so one time you're going towards horror, one time you're going towards comedy, and then you've got this lovely man, Josh.
I was delighted when he was killed, though. The first time I saw it, it was too nice. It was too nice. Yeah, I was suspicious of him. Yeah, delighted. 2 more comments to finish this off. Flora says, after this movie, I'm terrified of both rock climbing and pregnancy. I can imagine. Were any of the scenes improvised, or was it all scripted? It was. There was improvisation, but like to say that would do a disservice to Alice's writing. I think because it was so well written. You would turn up. You'd have your scene, which you would have learnt as normal anyway, turning up to work, and you'd read it through. But then she would say, "I want it to be loose and whatnot." But the beats are all there in the scene, so there's bits of improvisation, but you know where you've got to go in the scene, so it's kind of easier improvisation. And she's leading the way, and if something funny happens, it's because she's prompted it. She's got this bank of ideas, and she's So it was written and very well written, but she allowed it to be loose on the day. But even then, she's leading it because she's quick and she's fast and she's a funny fucker.
And she makes use of things, so it's incredibly scripted. But say, for instance, with a moment with the dog, she sensed an idea that the dog could be licking the blood, and instantly we did it, and it was hilarious, and it's there in the film. But that was a spare of the moment improvisation from Alice, and we all kind of like supported it and grabbed it and filmed it straight away. Yeah.
We're going to talk about the music, because the music of the film is created by a special duo, the guys of Toydrum, and they are here as well, Pablo and James Griffin. Give it up for Pablo and James. Good to have you here, guys. You were just in the foyer spinning some tunes already, and you will be doing it in a couple of minutes as well here on stage to warm everyone up for the after party. First of all, because it's a prominent, it's an important role in this movie, the soundtrack. How did you guys work? How does it go? Did you get the film sent, and then you start editing and making something?
Yeah, you do. You get it a very early stage where it's 3.5 hours long. And you start kind of, the film gets edited down, and you go and you kind of, I think, help by putting the music to it, and then they start editing back, and it's kind of a bit of play back and forth, really.
Oh, really? So do you get it sent back many times, like, I want a little bit more upbeat, or how does it go?
Yeah, I think she sent her first cut, and it was really great to work, but we'd start placing stuff in wherever, different scenes, and it was really nice going back and forth. But yeah, as she would whittle it down. But I think she had a good idea of what the film was going to be from the start. It was just a long version, but the structure was always the same. So yeah, it was great working with Alice. Yeah, you just
she knew what she wanted.
Yeah, she did, and and I think the film. I think it was an organic process that the music was written by watching the film, and it became, it worked out really well. Yeah. So.
We're going to listen to, the music you've used for the movie, but we're going to squeeze it into lesser minutes, of course. And it's going to be a medley, right? Everything we've heard a little bit and
something
mixed
like
together.
Yeah, a few bits put together,
go to the decks if you want. And I'm going to thank you guys, Mike, and everyone here and everyone in the audience. Please enjoy the music of Toydrum. I'm going to say that we're going to be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central European Time. And then we're going to watch the movie all together in all 45 till 50 countries of The Man. And it's a world premiere. So tune in again at IFFR Live. And you're not going to do anything.
No, I don't.
You have you're the lazy one.
That's it. That's him. I'm a studio person. He can press the button there. You don't need two people to press one button. That's weird.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the people of the amazing movie Prevenge tonight, and give it up for Toydrum.
Blood will be shed, one way or another. lonely woman. Be ruthless, Ruth.